Lesson 9, curve of best fit. So to find the curve of best fit, you actually need to use a graphing calculator. So to do the graphing calculator, there are lots of steps. So this video will help you go through using the... Okay, so we have the following data. Now what you're going to do is you're going to go into your graphing calculator and you're going to click the Stat button first. So this is your Stat button. And the screen that should come up will look like this. So it looks like this. Then what you're going to do is you're going to push 1 because we want to edit. This will make your screen look like this. Now what you're going to do is you're going to plot your x values in for L1 and your y values in for L2. So what you're going to type into the L1 spot is your x values. So 0, 1, 2, all of these x values, 3, 4, 5, all the way up to 29. And what I would suggest doing is just typing in all your x values first, then you click the right button, the right arrow, and then do all of your L2, and just make sure that they match up. And you know that they can match up too because in the end you should have the exact same amount of data in both columns. So once you've done that, it should look like this. So you have 2 full columns with your data inputted into the calculator. And now using that data we can do lots of things. The first thing that we're going to do is we are going to graph it. So you're going to push second function and then you're going to put this y equals button. So second function stat. And the screen that comes up will look like this. So once you get to this screen, we want to click 1 so that we can graph the first on plot 1. So press 1 and your screen will change to this. On this screen, you want to make sure that it's on. This is on. And you can click any of these buttons down here. And just make sure your X says L1 and your Y says L2. So you don't really have to do anything on this. The next button you're going to push is zoom. So this button right here. When you hit zoom, this screen will come up. And we want to hit the one that says zoom stat, which is number 9. So once you get to this screen, just push 9. And then it will graph it, and it will look like this. So there is a graph of your function. And as you can see, there's room on your notes to sketch the function. So it looks like this. This is a cubic function. So when we find our regression line, we want to find the cubic regression line. You can also do it with quadratic, and you can do it with linear as well, and multiple other things. So now what we're going to do is we're going to use this to find the regression line, the equation for the regression line. So the first thing that you have to do is you have to push stat. So starting the same way, push stat, and your screen should look like this. Now what we want to do is we want to calculate, so you're going to hit the right arrow, and your screen should turn into this. Now from this screen, this is where it will be different depending on which kind of graph you have. So if you're finding the linear regression line, you would hit 5. Quadratic would be 6. And because we're looking for the cubic, we are going to hit 7 now. So when you click 7, then I want you to push enter. And that comes up should look like this. So what this does is it's found our a, b, and c values for this formula, ax cubed plus bx squared plus cx plus d. So the equation for our cubic formula is y equals 0.1228. Let's just do 3 decimals because it doesn't say. So 0.123 x squared cubed minus 0.465 x squared plus 6.293x plus 23 0.452. So that is the equation for our cubic regression using the graphing, or the cubic regression using the graphing calculator. Now, you are also able to graph the cubic regression right on with your scatter plot, and you can do it exactly with all the decimal points without having to write them all into your graphing calculator. So I'm going to show you how to write this into your graphing calculator. So the first screen button that you want to push is you want to push this plot point up here, y equals. And your screen will look like this. Now what we're going to do is we're going to type in our equation to graph. But because we don't know A, the way that we type this in is the first button we click is vars. So hit vars and this screen will come up. We want to do statistics, so you hit 5. And then this screen will come up. And then we want to go over to EQ. So push the right button twice to get to EQ, and it will look like this. Now it shows all our variables. So when we're typing it into our calculator, we want it to be ax cubed. We want to go a times x cubed to the power of 3 plus b times x to the power of 2 plus c times x to the power just x, just kidding, plus d. So we need to use the a first, so we type 1, and then our screen will look like this. So you'll have an a there. And now we need to type the rest of this, so the way that we type it is we push the times button, and that will give you this little star. Then we want to push the X button, which is right here, X, and you'll get an X. And then the way we put in exponents on this calculator is this little hat symbol, whatever that is. That'll give you to the power, and then we do 3. And then what you're going to do is you're going to do the exact same thing to get B times x to the power of 2. So I'll show you one more time. So you click vars first. So first you hit vars, and your screen comes up like this. Then you're going to hit 5 for statistics. Then you want to get EQ, so you hit the right button twice, and you get to here. And now we need the B, so we'll hit 2 this time to get B. Then what you're going to do is you're going to type in the entire rest of your equation. So when you're done, it should look like this. So it'll say ax cubed plus bx squared plus cx plus d. If you were using a cubic, you would not have a d. If you were using a line, you wouldn't have a c. You would just have a and b. So now you have this. Now you want to graph it, so the button you're going to push is graph. And when you hit graph, your calculator should make it look like this. So now you have both the regression line and your scatter plot pointed in. So that is how you would graph that. Now, using this information from our formula we've made, we want to solve for the average gas price in 1984 and 1985. So this is for example 3. So we want 1984 and 1985. And these are all years away from 1979. So 1984 is 5 years away from 1979, and 1985 is 6 years. So we're going to plug in x to be 5 and x to be 6. So we have 0.123 times 5 cubed minus 0.465 times 5 plus 6.295 times 5 plus 23.452, and when you type that whole thing into your calculator, you get 44.9. So that would be the price of gas roughly in 1984. Now we're going to do the same thing with 6. So instead of writing an x, we're going to write a 6. So plus 6295 times 6 plus 23.452. And when you type the entire thing into your calculator, you get 47.2. So that would be the price of gas in each of those years. Clearing the calculator is an important thing to be able to do, because you want to always start with a calculator that has no information inputted into it. So I'll show you how to clear the calculator. So you're going to type in second function and then the plus sign to get to memory, and it's going to look like this. Then we want to hit 2 to delete all the memory, and the screen will change to this. We want to delete all, so we'll hit 1. Then it'll change to this. And then what you're going to do is you're going to push the enter key. Just keep pushing that until they're all gone and all you're left with is this. So once it looks like that, you're completely empty. There's nothing left in there. Then you can start over. So now we're going to do example 4. So example 4 is Audrey's interested in how speed plays a role in car accidents, so she has all of this data. So what I want you to do is I want you to type into your calculator all the data. So the first button you're going to push is Stat. Then you are going to Edit. That's going to bring up your L1 and your L2 screen. Then you're going to update all of your information in there, and it should look like this. So this should be all your data entered in. So the buttons that you pushed, once again, first Stat, then you push Edit, which is 1. Then it gets you to the L1, L2 screen, and you add all your data. So pause the video and get to that point. Now we're going to do second function. Second function, y equals. That brings you to your plot screen. Make sure that plot 1 is on. Then you're going to hit zoom, and you want to do zoom stat, so you hit 9. And your screen that should come up is this. So this is your graphed data. If you got lost somewhere along the way, please go through your notes and follow the step-by-step instructions to get to this point. So pause the video and make sure you get to this point. Now we need to find our regression line. So the first thing that you're going to hit, once again, is Stat. Then you want to hit, this is our first step. Second step is we want to hit Edit, or Calculate, so we're going to push the right arrow. Once we get to the right arrow, we want to do if it's quadratic, linear, or cubic. So because this data goes, like this, it looks like it's going to be a cubic regression line. So we want cubic regression, which is 6. So the third button that you should push is 6. When you push this and then enter, you will get this screen. Now we have all the information we need for the regression line. So we know our regression is y equals, we're just going to use the first 3 digits. So negative 0.00, and I think I got different numbers, but the numbers that I got when I did it the first time for A, B, and C are 0.009 x squared plus 0.446x minus 8.622. So there's your regression cubic, your quadratic regression. So you're going to have to practice this and get good at it because you got to do it on your test. You got to do it in multiple units, so become comfortable with graphing points and then graphing the regression line.